In this video, I'll show you how I painted these swans using only two colors. Watch until the end to see the full tutorial with color mixes. I used Winsor & Newton Professional Winsor Blue Red shade and Core Transparent Pyrrole Orange for these watercolor swans. Honestly, I tested how these paints behave with each other because Core is using Aquazol for their binder while Winsor & Newton use gum arabic. I used Baohong Academy cold press watercolor paper, 300 GSM and 100% cotton on a loose sheet. I started by transferring the outline drawing to my watercolor paper using a light pad. You can check my video on how I transfer drawing to my watercolor paper neatly by clicking the card here at the top or checking the link in the description box. I use a masking tape to tape my paper to my artboard. Before painting, I mask the swans using graphic gum masking fluid. I use Princeton Shellac Brown size 4 for application with diluted dishwashing soap in a jar. To prevent the brush from being damaged, I dip the brush into the liquid soap, remove the excess water, cut some masking fluid, applied it to my paper, and repeated it until the masking fluid covered the drawing. I prepared my colors. I started with a tea consistency of transparent Pyrrole Orange and Winsor Blue together in one well. Orange and blue are complementary colors. It means these colors are on the opposite of the color wheel. These colors can make neutral colors when mixed, like gray, brown, or black. In every painting, I always start with a tea consistency. When we say tea consistency, it's the lightest or palest color. It's watery with a very small amount of paint. The paint moves easily and quickly on your mixing palette, and it's best to use as the first wash on painting. I used a flat brush to wet my paper with clean water. That's the reason it's always good to have 2 jars of water when you paint. I made sure the whole page was wet. I let the paper absorb the water for a minute and then I added another layer of water. The paper should be evenly wet. It's shiny with no water puddling on top and no dry areas. I used a mop brush to paint the background. I painted from top to bottom. I forgot to press record in painting the top. For the lower background, I mixed darker and coffee consistency of orange and blue. When we say coffee consistency, it has more pigment than the tea, but the mixture is still moving on your palette. I wipe the paint on top of the swans to clean it up a bit with tissue paper. Even if the paper has masking fluid, for some reason there is paint absorbed by the paper below, so I cleaned it up a bit because I wanted the swans to remain white. I use this damp Princeton Neptune round brush size 8 to lift some paint to make reflections of the swans on the water while the first layer was wet. This brush is not dripping wet or dry, it's damp. I removed excess water using my towel to make sure the brush was not too wet. If I put the brush on the paper while the paper is slowly drying, it can create blooms that I don't like in this painting. I lifted some paint below the swans to show the swans' reflection. Then I removed the lifted paint on my brush using the towel beside me. I didn't copy the exact reflection in the reference photo as long as I followed the inverted shape of the swans. This watercolor painting is my simplified version of the photo. I left the first layer of the background to completely dry and took a break. Once the first layer was dry, I went back to paint a second layer of the background. So I wet the paper again and I prepared milk consistency of the same gray mixture. When we say milk consistency, it means it has more pigment, thicker than coffee and tea consistencies. The paint doesn't move easily on your palette and it has mid-tone and value. I added short, thin, broken lines on the top, and as I went down, the lines were getting thicker. As per perspective, whatever is far from you, the object is small and lighter in color. If the object is near you, the object is bigger and darker in color. That's the reason I painted lighter on the top and darker on the bottom, because from the viewer's perspective, it is closer. I added another layer of dark gray mix from the swans going down. The darker the water is, the lighter the swans appear. Then I lifted some colors to show reflections of the swans. As I observe the two paints I have, it looks like Core is pushing Winsor and Newton away. The water on my painting showed some blue, but it's fine because it's water. I use this silver black velvet round brush size 4 to paint the reflection of the peaks of the swans with the coffee consistency of the core transparent Pyrrole orange, and I use this brush to paint some parts of the swans. I use this rubber cement pickup to remove the dried masking fluid. This is the easiest and most convenient way to remove the masking fluid than using your fingers or hard eraser. I made sure all of the masking fluid has been removed before painting the swans. I use this watercolor pencil from Faber-Castell to draw some details before painting. This watercolor pencil disappears when water is added. I rarely use this, but it's a good addition to your art supplies if you want the pencil lines to disappear. I drew some lines to mark the shadows and the highlights. The main source of light was coming from the top, and there was another one from the front right side, so there were some parts of the swans I wouldn't touch with paint. I prepared a tea consistency of the same gray mix. If you are painting white, take note that the whole image was not white. Some other colors were showing. That depends on the colors around them. Here are some examples. The best way to keep them white on your painting is to leave the whitest area untouched with paint. That's the reason I use masking fluid. I started painting the shadows on the wings of the swan on the left, following the lines I drew earlier, and then softened them to avoid drying with harsh edges as I painted them using wet on dry. For the neck of the swans, I painted them wet on wet. I used the bigger round brush to wet the neck and added a thick consistency of orange and gray on the lower part to have a smooth color transition. I left some parts of the swan untouched to show it the whitest parts of the swans that the sun was touching. If you find this video helpful, kindly tap the like button. If you want to see videos like this, subscribe and make sure you have the bell notification on so you'll be notified if I upload a new video. I painted the swan on the right with a tea consistency of gray mix to show the shadows of the wings and soften them to avoid drying with harsh edges. It's the same process I did earlier. However, it looks like the Princeton Neptune round size 8 has still some orange left. That's hard to clean because the orange paint is staining. Anyway, the orange is too light and I don't know if you can see it on the screen. I just used the lightest orange to paint the swan's body, but I still avoided adding paint to those areas that needed to be white. I painted the beaks with the same gray mix, but I painted another layer with a cream consistency of the gray mix because the first layer was too light, and then I added a milk consistency of orange on the beaks. I mix a darker value of gray for the beaks because I wanted the beaks to be darker. As for the final touches, I use the same dark gray to paint the shadows of the swans on the water, and I added a bit more of the shadows on the water. Once the painting was dry, I removed the tape, and here is my finished painting of the swan couple. I hope you learned something today, and I recommend watching my other watercolor tutorials.